Okay. Look at my notes. Okay. Hello everybody! Happy New Year! Welcome to my first ever 2025 video. So we're gonna start the year something a little bit controversial, which might upset some of the fans with this ranking video. So anyway, welcome to another book session review. So today we're gonna be doing another Disney book review, but this one's more like a ranking, to be honest with you. In the world of the Twisted Tales. In case you didn't know what the Twisted Tales are, honestly this should be adapted to a Disney Plus series, to be honest with you, than What If, but it's literally like What If. So the Twisted Tale is basically like, what if, for example, there's a book called What If Elsa and Anna Aren't Sisters? What if Cinderella never tried on the shoes? Those types of books. So they're all standalone books. You can start any books, honestly. You can start with your favorite Disney movie and go from there, or if the question really intrigues you, you can start from there. They're not all connected, they're just anthologies. They're literally like standalone, which is amazing. So you can, and the book covers are amazing. They're literally like a fan-made poster. So yeah, so today we're gonna be ranking this book. Boop. This is called A Twisted Tale Anthology book. So this one is anthology. It's like a short story form. It's 16 short stories. One of them is like, what if Aurora knows about the curse? What if Snow White learns magic? All the fun goody stuff. And yeah, so we're gonna be ranking from the worst and the best, and this may upset some people because that's how the internet works, and this is my personal opinion. And again, the way I read this book, I read it during like December, during Christmas. I read it kind of like an advent calendar. So like, I suggest you should probably do that. Like every day you read like a short story. So then you start with Snow White, and then next day you can start with Bambi, whatever. It's very fun to read this like every day. It's like, ooh, what's today and stuff. So it made the month go by fast, and also like it made the book like very fun to read. Like you wonder what is next. So I highly suggest doing it. So before we do the ranking, let me share you my thoughts about the book cover, and then my overall thoughts about the book, and then we'll get into the ranking. Anyway, so here's the book cover. It's very simple, it's very beautiful, it's huge. Like it's like, if you put like two Twisted Tale books in one, it's literally like this. It's like 500 pages. It's like very big. It's like a huge ass book. When you first say it's very overwhelming, but yeah. So this, I love the little artwork. It has like all the Disney symbols and stuff, and it has a book, and like, yeah, it says What If. When you open it, it says Twisted Tales, and I think it's just a plain, yeah, it's just plain black. It's literally like a storybook. And then when you open each, for example, this one is Mulan stories, so each of them have like a black like cover and stuff. So it's literally like a little short story. In case you're wondering, yes, it does have a content. So that's how I did the rankings. So if you really want to go to like the Ariel story, you can just look at the page number and go from there. It starts with a forward thingy, like a typical, you know, book. I don't know, I love it. I love the book covers of the Twisted Tales. They're really like my favorite, and they are very gorgeous to look at, and yeah, they're very pretty. So okay, so that's my quick thoughts about the book cover in general. So here's my overall thoughts about the book. As I said, some of the short stories did felt short. Some of them felt literally like a novel. It depends. Just a warning, the ranking is based on like how I'm a big fan of the material. So if you're a very huge fan of like Treasure Planet, The Lion King, then you probably will enjoy these short stories because they're very like alternatives and backstories and stuff. And if you're like me, that are general cast, you're not a fan, then it's gonna be dragging, like forcing yourself to read it. But some are a great surprise. So again, it just depends on which Disney movie stance you stand for. That's what I'm trying to say. And some of the short stories are like backstories, and some of them are like, majority of them are kind of like alternatives, like kind of like what happened after like Happily Ever After, kind of, especially with the Hercules story. We'll get into that's kind of like what happened after his ending of the story. There's so many, like, you know, it's like a mix between like backstory, alternative, and also like a change of like, most of them are kind of like character perspective of like their own version of the story. So we'll get into that. Honestly, at the end of the day, I will be happy for a part 2 of this anthology book. There's so much Disney movies, like I love to do an Alice in Wonderland, or like Encanto, or like there's just so many possibilities you can do with this. But I think this would work as a series, like a Disney animation series, and this would be a huge blow up, and yeah, better than What If, I hope. So anyway, further ado, the reason why you guys are in this video, let's get started with the ranking. Okay, oh my god, okay. Last place happens to be, it's called I Ratted the Stars. This is the Treasure Planet, and that one is, hold on, let me just read. What if Jimmy Hawkins joins the pirate? Long story short, I had no idea what the hell is happening in this story. This is from the Treasure Planet movie, and I had zero memories. I tried rewatching during the pandemic. I just couldn't get into it. I'm like, oh my god, the story is done. So that's last place because I just have zero memories of the movie, and also like I know the guy like Jimmy Hawkins, but like just Treasure Planet in general, it's like and if you're a big fan of it, you might like it, but if you're like me, I would definitely say skip it. But yeah, okay, that's the second last place. It really breaks my heart. I put Fate Street. It's like, what if the triplets visit the witch? This is the Merida, sorry, the first one is written by Liz, not Brit, yeah, M.K. England. That's like a new author, and the one, it's Jenny Cullen. She is, here's a bunch of like Disney Twisted Tales that have their own series. There's some like new ones. It's literally, you're reading an article. So what if the triplets visit the witch? So it's how I described the book. It's literally like, I guess it's like an alternative, being like, okay, what happens after the events of like Brave and stuff, and they don't answer that. Okay, again, by the way, this is a non-spoiler review. It's a very long drag. It's more like honestly a character development, like kind of like character studied, and like the twins are definitely like older now. They're kind of like Meredith's age. It's like a similar parallel story between Brave and that one, and I feel like once they get into that question, it was very like short and sweet. That's what I wanted to put it. It just felt like a little bit of a rush, but you spend so much time with the character development. So if you know, I'm not really interested with the triplets, but if you are, you might like it. But it's more, honestly, it's more like a character study, I would say, for that one. Okay, 14 would be this is called A Royal Game of Chess. This is what if history wasn't quite right about the legend of Robin Hood. This one's like not the worst of them all. Again, it comes back to the idea like I'm okay, like I'm a casual fan of like the Robin Hood. I remember the animals, and it's kind of like, that one is more like a little bit like a reimagining of the Robin Hood story. And yes, they are still animals in this version because it's the Disney version. It's just more like he's kind of treated like, you know, like a villain kind of in this part. And I don't that's what it is. I don't remember much about other than like he's like, it's just a different take on it, I would say. That's one way to put it without spoilers or anything. So that's my quick thoughts about it. And then we're moving to 13, Taylor Swift's lucky number. The Requiem Prince. It's like, what if Bambi didn't want to be the next great prince of the forest? So if, spoiler alert, if you didn't watch the Bambi movie, Bambi ends up becoming like the prince of the forest. So this one is more like, what if he didn't take it? It's more like, I would say more like a persuasive short story as to like why he should take it. I'm not gonna say if he changed his mind or not, because again, it's a non-spoiler. This one is more like, I think this one's more like towards like the end of the story, but you're getting more like, this is why you should take it. It's very important for you, and it's up to him to decide whether or not he should take it or not. And a big thread happened. That's one way how I felt reading that short story. It's bittersweet. It's okay. Anyway, so that's my quick spoiler. So the second one is, this is more like the backstory. This is called A Dragon in the Snow. It's like when Meriden Lim and Marilyn went to school together. I remember that the middle was like okay, like it was a little bit draggy, but towards the end it was more like, oh, this is like a backstory of like Madame Mim and Marilyn. This reminds me of like Wicked Part 1 a little bit, because they went to school together and like you see their dynamics with it. It's just very heartbreaking, especially you know how Madame Mim went towards, you know, in the Sword of the Stone kind of, and you can see kind of like their relationship. It's very like heartbreaking. It's like, it's more like a villain origin story, to be honest with you, with this like short story. I wish it was higher, but like it's just that towards it was very long. Like it took a while to get through like the point of the story. So there's that. Okay, so we're in number 11. This one is called A First Mission. This is what if Mulan became the Empress advisor? So like this was more like what happens after the happily ever after, kind of like what if Mulan takes in charge of the Empress advisor. This is, it's kind of like, I don't remember much of it because this is like a long time ago. That's why it's at the very bottom, because I don't remember much about it other than like, this is more like a what if scenario. It's more like, if you enjoyed the war aspect of like Mulan, like her being technical, her being like a mastermind, everything, they might enjoy this short story. To be honest, it's very much like, that's as far as I remember. There's so many like, you know, it's a war story, and yeah, I don't know, it's just there's just better like short stories from here than that. So at least it's not at the bottom, but like it's almost at the bottom. So anyway, there's that. So the next one, we're in number 10. We're in top 10 now. This is called Dust to Dust. Was like, what if Tinkerbell was working for Captain Hook? For this version, this is more like a perspective towards Tinkerbell in the Peter Pan story. It's a little bit like an origin story kind and slash like how it leads towards Peter Pan, to be honest with you. And it's a very like interesting tell, to say the least. And like they do tackle some of the famous scenes from the Peter Pan as to like her motivation as to why she was doing what she was doing. The reason why it's at the bottom because like I don't know, I didn't really felt like the energy between her wanting to work for Captain Hook. To be honest with you, maybe I have to read it for the second time. Definitely, probably should. But like I just remember like it's very much like an origin story slash like the perspective towards Tinkerbell in the Peter Pan story. And yeah, it's just crazy because I just read like 2 different Captain Hook origin stories and this is Tinkerbell, and yeah, I don't know, I said there's just better short stories than that one. So that one is number 10. Anyway, so number 9 is A New Dawn. What if Mufasa gave up his thorn? So this is more like, what if Mufasa never dies, to be honest. What if we don't get that iconic scene? It's pretty much a very short story. I'm a casual fan for The Lion King, not like a stan of it. That one is way better. I'm more of a familiar with actually, I lied. I was gonna say I'm more familiar with the lore, but I'm okay. Like, I'm like a basic, you know, level of The Lion King. So this one is more like, yeah, it's more like an alternative of the story. Like the change, this is kind of like what you expect The Twisted Tale to be, kind of like changing the story a little bit. So Scar's change of ending, definitely, especially with the new twist and stuff. And you definitely see like, I think it's like a better storytelling version. I wish that was obviously if you're a big fan of Mufasa, you'll be super happy with that short story. That's why it's number 9 in my list, and it's a very like satisfying ending, I shall say, if you are a big fan of Mufasa, and you know, it will give you less trauma and stuff, so you'll be happy with that story. Anyway, number 8 is Cast Out. That's the first short story of the book, the one that started it all. It's like, what if Snow White learns magic? This one, again, it's a mix between origin story slash Snow White's perspective. It honestly felt like a retelling of her story, but like added some like magic into it. I really enjoy it, to be honest with you. That's why it's top 10. And it's very interesting to see an extended period of like the chasing it towards the end of her movie. And she's definitely more active with this movie instead of like people complaining about how she doesn't really do much but this one she's, you know, very active. But like it goes more into depth into her relationship between the evil queen and like how magic is involved. So it's very interesting. It's a great way to start, kind of like the way of how like this book or those types of storytellings will be telling Twisted Tale. So that's a really great one to start. But again, there's just better ones, to be honest, better ones. Anyway, so that's number 8. So number 7 is Ebola. What if Remy had met Khalid first? This one is the Ratatouille version. Again, I think it's the second Pixar story. We have that one and Brave for this anthology. So this one is more like a different take of the Ratatouille. So instead of Remy, I forgot his name, but the guy, what if he mentors like the girl instead, like his love interest? So it's basically like another twist of the story. It's like same old familiar beats and stuff. So if you're a fan of like of the character that's starring in the show, so you probably will enjoy it. And yeah, it's like a similar like beat towards like how the original movie was. That's one way to put it without any spoiler, to give you a sense of idea how that story is. So number 6 is called Call It a Hunch. So this one is like, what if Hercules' first date as God didn't go as planned? So this one is more like the happily ever version of like when Hercules became a god. And this is a very like fun, like it felt like a little like short story, like a short basically like a short cartoon. That's one way to describe it. I got lost towards it. I'm like, wait, I didn't know that Meg is basically the maker, not Hercules. But it's very interesting to see like him going through like his first day of job. And if you're a big Hercules, you probably will enjoy it. I wish this was adapted to like a short. That would be a cool short to watch. Kind of like Happily Ever After, and like, I don't know, it's very like silly, it's very like lighthearted, and it's a different like storytelling from the previous like short. It's more like yeah, that's why I describe it. It felt like a little, honestly, like Mickey Mouse and Friends shorts, to be honest with you. So we're moving on to the top 5. So number 5 is the last one. It's called The Roses and Thorns. This one is, what if Aurora knew about the truth about her curse? And honestly, I was looking forward to reading that show because I really am fascinated with the Sleeping Beauty lore and and stuff. So reading that one was very interesting. Definitely the third act, Aurora had a bunch of things to do. She is very active. She tries to, she's kind of like a girl boss in this version of Sleeping Beauty. I would love to see that adapted to like an animation show or something like that, to shut up like Aurora like haters and stuff. And it's a great, it's honestly, that book really make you felt like if you were in her shoes about this curse and stuff. It made you understand why in the original tale the fairies didn't want to like let her worry about it. That's one way to put it. And it's, you know, it's very interesting. And it just reminds me of the pandemic a little bit, kind of like, when will this curse be away? When will this like pandemic be away? It kind of reminds me of that type of vibe. So that's why it's number 5. It really had an emotional impact on me, and I just love the princesses, and that one's not bad. I think that's better than the Snow White thingy, but that's why we put it. So it had a really emotional investment for Aurora. Anyway, it's a great satisfying ending. It's like, whoa, what a new twist. Yeah, so number 4 is Journey Home. This is the Beauty and the Beast tale. What if Belle had to take her father's place at the fair? I feel like this person really loves Beauty and the Beast. That her action, the way Belle does it, it's exactly how you vision Belle to do in the first movie and stuff. Of course, the sad part is like she, you know, I'm not gonna spoil it, like, because it's just a little bit of a spoiler, but like, you know, but it's a very interesting thing. You could it's more, again, it's more like a character study, to be honest with you. With Belle, you can really show like how really intelligent she is, and like her thinking and stuff with danger situation. I was hoping that we can kind of see more of that in the original movie, but we didn't. But this one is very like an honest, true take of like, you know, that's one way to put it. So I really enjoy it. It's a great, you know, great twisted tale, great short story. So the third one is Gonna Take You Home. This one is What If Naveen Had to Get Home to Madonia. I really enjoy like the Tiana like twisted tale. This one is, again, it's more like the alternative, like like the reimagining of the Princess and the Frog movie, and you really see a little bit of like Princess Tiana and Naveen's like relationship in this book, their relationship in general, and it's very like a cute like short story and stuff. And it's a great adventure too. It's like a little like road trip a little bit, and it's a great fun read. If you're a big fan of Princess and the Frog, you'll definitely enjoy this short story. I really enjoy it. So number 2 is The Envelopment. This one is a emotional, heartbreaking character style. This one is What If Anastasia Had a Change of Heart. So this one is more like the happily ever after Cinderella, to be honest with you. And reading this, if you really love Anastasia, it's gonna break your heart. Like, I was just emotionally wrecked reading that book, emotionally. Like, it's very sad. It's all about forgiveness and stuff. It's more like the after effect of Cinderella, and it was a very like great character study, and yeah, great character study, to be honest with you. You can understand like the stepsisters, the stepfamily's point of view and the action behind it. But yeah, it was very heartbreaking. Like, I really enjoy it. Okay, so number 1 is The Secret Exchange. This is the peak. This is the honest. I was surprised how much I really enjoy it. This one is What If Eric Met Ariel after she rescues him. I love this short story. I'm a huge Little Mermaid fan. What a surprise. And I really love the romance between Ariel and Prince Eric. I wish that happened in the original book, to be honest with you. It was very romantic to see. It's kind of like things that you wish that were explored more in the original tale with this version. But the downside is that Ursula's in the story, but she doesn't have like a big role versus like in the original book. To be honest with you, it's very, I think towards the end it was very like quick. I'm like, oh, there's conflict. I'm just wondering how's this gonna, because it's such a romantic like short story, but honestly it's one of my favorites. It's a great like short romantic tale. So if you think that Ariel and Prince Eric deserves like more romantic development, read this short story. Like, it really showcased their romantic feelings for each other, and he's a very loyal prince. That short story really shows how loyal he is. So those are my rankings of the short story from this book. Let me know in the comments below, what is your favorite short story, which one are you very interested in, which Disney movie would you like them to explore in a short story form. Let me know in the comments below. And this is such a long video for a great way to start the year, so I hope you guys enjoy it, and I'll see y'all on the next video. I post videos, I try my best to post videos every week. Next week for now. Okay, bye. Have a magical day. Mwah. Bye. Poof. My least favorite book cover is the stepsister. I mean, I do love the art design. I don't know, it's just very simple and like... Oh, wait, that's it? Okay.